Hey, good evening, everyone. It is 8:20 p.m. on Monday, October 17th, 2022. Hope you had a great day. And just doing a little follow-up video from last night. The video I posted yesterday, I guess yesterday afternoon, actually. And what I wanted to review was a couple of things with these stock futures, these indexes that I trade as futures. And then we'll take a quick look at a couple of currency pairs, and then we'll wrap it up. So what I was looking for when I was talking yesterday was, so this was our session on Friday, and you can see we went down. And what I was expecting today was to see a rally all the way up, either during the overnight session yesterday or during the early New York session, and then a big sell-off. But what we got was, we did get the rally. So I'll show you the actual, because this is the composite. This is not the futures contract. So this big gap that you see, this was the closing candle on Friday. This was the 9:30 a.m. New York open today. And then everything in between here where you see this big gap was the overnight session, which doesn't happen on the regular index. It happens on the futures contract, which I'll show you on that chart in a second. But I'd like to show you the underlying asset first. This happens to be the NASDAQ, but they all look like this, whether it's the Dow, the Russell, S&P, or NASDAQ. So you can see what happened. We rallied all the way up today, and then we did nothing all day. We just moved sideways. There was no action whatsoever. Now, this is the arrow I put on the chart last night, and I was expecting this to come up and then down today. We did get the up, but we did not get the down. And it was just kind of a quiet Monday. There really wasn't much in the news to push this down. So we had a little bit of a rally early. I suppose you probably could have taken maybe a few points out of this, but I took one small trade and I was out of it. I took a small profit, but there was clearly no volatility behind this, so I just decided to not trade it the rest of the day, and that's what I did. And so the bottom line is, guys, I'm expecting that this arrow for tomorrow will be hopefully play out, and right now I'm still potentially looking for a good selling opportunity, but we'll see. Like I said, we moved up today and then moved sideways. It really didn't do anything. And if I show you the underlying contract, so this is the NASDAQ on the underlying contract, and let me just mark off. So let me actually go to a 30-minute chart so you can see the New York open. So 13:30 is the New York open. So yeah, it was this candle right here. Okay, it was this candle right here, and we went right up until the New York session, which was right here. So right at that line right there. So essentially, guys, this was our entire range for Monday. It was right here. Okay. And so you can see it didn't really do much. This was the whole range right inside this box. This is the entire New York session today. So you can see really nothing going on here today, which is why I didn't trade it. However, again, this, you can see that we've rallied all the way back up to this high that was put in last week on this, I think was probably Thursday, and then we had that sell off on Friday, and we've just been kind of sitting here like this. So I am still anticipating downward pressure, just based on fundamental data too. So we'll keep an eye on it, and it's pretty much the same story across the board. Here's the Dow on the 30-minute. Here's the NASDAQ, the S&P, and here's the Russell. And the Russell was a tad more volatile because, again, it's a small cap, but you can see they all pretty much have that same look of just, a bit of a push up early and then just consolidated the rest of the day. Okay, so again, guys, do your own research. If you don't trade these markets, I'm just, giving some new perspectives on some other things, other markets that I'm looking at. And right now I'm still leaning towards short positions here. So, all right. So over to Forex. over to Forex just briefly. So this is the euro pound on the 15-minute chart. You can see I'm in a long position that I took earlier today, and I am holding this one overnight. And this is a 15-minute chart. But if you go out to the 4-hour, you can see we had this corrective move all the way down, and then it came right down to this little, apparently turns out to be a very important little liquidity area right here, because we went exactly to it, and then we started rallying away. Okay, and of course that follows this big rally up that we had previously. So we'll see. You can see I have my take profit, at least my initial take profit, back up around this liquidity pool of this previous support area, which also should coincide with the extension of this trend line. When we get up to this area, if it looks really impulsive, like it's going to blow right through it, then I'll probably take profit off and just let it run. But for now, this is kind of my short-term objective, is back up around this red line, which again coincides with some previous liquidity areas and also the trend line. But you can see this large wick that comes off this trend line, off this low here, where it's clearly the buyer stepped in and really pushed prices hard away from this area. And again, it lines up perfectly with this kind of demand area right here. And so that's why I took the trade. So we'll keep an eye on this one and, see how that one goes. Here's the Euro Canadian. And again, I got into this one a little bit late, but essentially, again, we had this large, and again, this is a 30-minute chart. We had this large impulsive move up, and we had this big corrective move down. And I basically waited until we got a close back above the trend line, which I took right here. I think there's a good Fibonacci level on this too. Yeah, we went right to the 78.6 Fibonacci on the low. So theoretically, I probably could have taken it right here. But anyways, and again, there's my first target is back up near these highs, which isn't a great risk to reward ratio. But you can see on the 4-hour chart, it's back up around these previous highs. And on the daily chart, we are technically still in a downtrend. If you look left back at the previous swing highs back here. So right now, I'm kind of targeting price to maybe go back to these highs, but we'll see. And kind of like the euro pound, if price gets up near this level here and looks like it wants to continue higher, I may take profit off, but that's where I'm at right now with it. And this is the euro dollar, no trade there, but I'm just kind of watching this. Of course, we're in the overnight session now, so it's just moving sideways. So let's see what this does in terms of continuing the downtrend that's been well entrenched on this pair. And so we had this big corrective move up. So now let's see what happens if we get a pushback lower or if we just continue the upside move. So, but I am still kind of tracking this for a continuation of the downtrend. And kind of the same deal on the Aussie dollar. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, we are kind of close by to some weekly support, so I am very aware of that. But right now, I'm still looking at this. This is a 15-minute chart, and see if we get a break back to the downside or if we're going to continue higher here. But right now, my bias is still negative. And we are kind of flirting with the 78.6 retracement here during the overnight. Dollar Canadian, there's no trade here right now. I was looking at this on the 4-hour chart of being a nice support area maybe to trade long from. Never really got a signal here. We are, as you can see, still just kind of bouncing along this area. So as long as we hold this area, I'm basically still looking for longs here, but we'll see what happens. We did have an impulsive move back, and now we've basically 100% retraced this back to this area. Although we still are in an uptrend, so we'll see what happens. But unless we get a big break lower, I'm still technically looking for long positions on dollar CAD, so we'll see. Dollar yen didn't do a whole lot today. Kind of took a little breather from its big move up. So, so it kind of went sideways here for pretty much all day. We had a little move up towards the end of the session, but essentially it's been pretty quiet and most in line with the stock market being pretty quiet for a Monday. And here's the pound dollar. And you can see we did break this trend line moving up here. And again, on the daily chart, we're still down on the pound dollar. And, I still was anticipating, this is what I showed you last night, that we could see it pull back up here further, which it has. I had expected originally to have this not rally as far. It came down last night, but it has since moved back up. But we're still in a downtrend, and essentially, I'm still looking potentially for this to break to the downside. We did break lower today, and then now, of course, we're moving sideways overnight. So this is still my bias on this pair is to the downside, which does continue the dollar strength and the push down on the pound US dollar to new lows. Okay, so that's where we're at, guys, and keep it short and sweet tonight. And I hope to be able to talk a little bit more about these futures potentially tomorrow if anything comes of it, and just kind of update you on these handful of these Forex pairs. All right, guys, any questions, comments, please, as always, leave them down below in the comment section, and make sure you smash that like button if nothing else. And of course, if you're just finding the channel and you like the content, please subscribe down in the lower right hand corner or below the video. You should see the subscribe button and turn on that bell for notifications. All right, I hope everybody has a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.